Good evening, students. I'm going to review some of the stuff we did last time around in this video, and I'm going to clarify exactly how I want you to present the material a little more clearer than I did last time, so that I can get much more consistent work, and it's much easier for you to be careful and make sure that you're turning it in exactly the way you're supposed to turn it in. First thing I'm going to do is a little organizational stuff here. So you'll remember there was a folder on your desktop. Let's see. I'm going to, and this is what your folder looked like. Let's see. Copy, paste, there we go. Edit, delete. That's some work I did last time. So you had a folder on your desktop that you had put your previous work in. What I want you to do is on that folder, which is on your desktop, I want you to right click. If you're on a PC, I'm not sure how to do this on a Mac. Hopefully you'll have a better way to do this. And I'm going to create a new folder within that folder. I'm going to title that Assignment 1. And I'm going to take the previous photos, both of those, and put them in that folder. Now I'm going to create another folder in that folder titled Assignment. Oops, I have the cap lock on. Assignment 2. And that's where I'm going to put things today so that I can share them later. Now, where am I going to share those? I'm going to share them once again on Google Drive, which means I'm going to do the same thing on my Google Drive that I just did there. So I'm going to go to Google and Drive, and I'm going to go to my folder, which is there, is the folder. And I've already done the same thing in the last thing. So what I've done now is I'm going to undo that work real quick. I'm going to take this, I'm going to put it here. Okay, do the same thing here. Okay. Problem is I did this, I've already done this. And I'm going to delete this. Because you guys shouldn't have that. This is what you guys should have right now as you start this video. I'm sorry, I restarted the video, so I had to undo some of the work I did before. So this is what you see, hopefully, when you look at your computer. You open up your Google Drive, you see the folder which says your name and then the class period you're on. This is the folder that you've shared with me. When you open it, you see the images that you had previously shared with me. I want to not be looking through all the different photos in that, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click, click New Folder. And by the way, it's Control click for Mac users. I learned that from one of the parents. Control click is the same as a right click for you Mac people. So I'm going to title this one Assignment 1, create that folder. I'm going to take these things, I'm going to drop them into that folder. This warning here is why I remade the video, because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get to that folder if you did this, but I have at this point verified that I can. So I'm going to right click again, I'm going to click New Folder, and I'm going to title this one Assignment 2 and create. And now this is where I'm going to drop all of the work that I do today on SketchUp. You're going to drop it right into that Assignment 2 folder. That way I'll know where to look for the work from this one. So let's go ahead and minimize that and get back into SketchUp 2017 and start using SketchUp again. Okay. No, I don't want to bring back what I was working on. Okay, so to revisit what I wanted you to learn last assignment was I wanted you to learn how to properly use this tool. To know that if you go in this direction, it's going to turn green because that's the green axis. This direction is supposed to turn red because it's parallel to the red axis, and this is going straight up and down, or in the z-axis or the blue axis. So that's something I wanted you to understand. I also wanted you to understand how to make a 90-degree angle by basically going in the green direction and then the red direction. You end up creating a 90-degree angle, which I can verify real quick with this lovely little protractor tool. For the protractor, I'm going to click on the angle that I want to measure. I'm going to click on one of the lines creating that angle. Click once, and then go over here, and I can look here, and if I look down at the bottom of the screen, it tells me that's a 90-degree angle. Okay. Now, using this line tool, you can draw nice square lines. that are 90-degree angles to each other. I think I might have screwed that one up. For some reason it was purple. And I'm wondering if this is going to work. I don't think it is. Oh, it did. I'm not sure why it turned purple. Now, it is also true that with this tool, if I click and I move my mouse off into this direction, and I type, say, 36, enter, it's going to go 36 inches. I could, if I wanted to, click and not click at all, just kind of sit there, my hands off the thing, I haven't clicked anywhere, and I can type 36, enter, and it's going to create a 36-inch line. If I do that, however, it keeps the pencil attached to the line. Whereas before, where I clicked and then typed 36, enter, it created a 36. Oh, actually, one way or the other, apparently it's staying attached. Which is strange because it's something I did earlier where it wasn't doing that. But one way or the other, I'm going to lead you on a wild goose chase. And in the end, we're going to end up with the same shape, all of us. I'm going to be making this up as I go. However, in the end, I'm going to be able to tell you exactly what all the measurements are, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So first, we're going to click somewhere on the floor, visually on whatever this floor is. I'm going to move in the green direction, 36 inches. It's inches because I'm doing woodworking inches, and it's just automatically going to assume inches. I am then going to move in the red direction, 40 inches. So 40, enter. So watch, I'm going to move up here in the green direction. I'm going to take my hand off the mouse. Okay, I haven't clicked anywhere. And I'm going to type 22, enter. Then I'm going to move this direction, 16, enter. Then I'm going to move this direction, 45, enter. You shouldn't be trying to keep up. You should watch the entire thing and then go back through and watch, pause, do that. Or you can just write down these measurements if you want to. But one way or the other, you're going to be recreating exactly the way I did. So once again, in the red direction, I'm going to go, let's go 79 inches. And come down this way, 31 inches. And then this direction, 5 inches. And then this direction, we're going to finish this thing off. So at this point, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to pause for a full couple seconds. And then I'm going to move this direction, trying to keep that dotted line going all the way across, because if I move it, it breaks, until I get right, come on, there we go, all the way across, until I get to, oh, it's blue. I don't want blue. There we go. Until my line is green, and you can see that little dotted line connection. I'm going to click and click. Now, all these things should be 90 degrees. That last angle, click, and if you look down at the bottom, 90 degrees. The angle to the beginning, click, click, 90 degrees. Everything's 90 degrees. I'm going to go to Camera, Standard Views, and Top. Now I'm looking straight down at it. Okay? So I have followed, you can rewind and watch, you can write down these numbers, or you can pause and then do your work, and then pause and then do your work. But one way or the other, I want you to follow all these lines. You can also wait to the end of this because all the measurements are going to be shown, and I'm going to show you how to do that. First of all, I can check a measurement by clicking on the tape measure and clicking somewhere and going down to the other side, and it'll tell you how long it is. See how it says 72 inches? I'm going to escape to get rid of that. But what I want you to do is I want you to go to the dimension tool over here on the right. Now, if you don't have this toolbar over here, I'm going to remind you of how I got that. I went to View and Toolbars, and I selected the large tool set, and I deleted the Getting Started set, which was at the top. So I'm going to delete the Getting Started and leave the large tool set. I have moved mine over to the right because of my little face down here, potentially getting in the way of my tools. Okay, I'm going to choose the Dimension tool here, and I'm going to start working my way around this thing. Now, when you're doing this, if you select the midpoint, it's not going to work the way I want. If I click here, it's going to just tell me how far away I am from that line, and that's not what I want. Pushing the escape button. Instead, I want the line to be highlighted. Can you see that's blue? I want to make sure you're not behind my face there. See how the line turned blue? And as I pull away, it's going to tell me that measurement, which was 36 inches. Second measurement, 40 inches. Third measurement, once again, I'm hovering over it until it turns blue, is 22 inches. And 16 inches, 45 inches, 79, 31. I'm going to skip this little tiny one because it's going to be very hard to read. But I'm going to do this. I'm going to line those two up over there. Although I'm not going to be so particular with you guys. I don't want to do something really minutia about this. I just want you to put all these measurements on your screen like this. Okay, I want you to enlarge it so that it fills most of your screen, so that these numbers are clearly readable. You can look at them. You can see all those numbers. Okay, did I get them all? 36, 40, 22, 16, 45, 79, 31. And then you, just so you know, this one is, I think it's 5, if I'm correct. It's 5 inches. You can go ahead and do that one if you want, but I'm not going to worry about being able to read it. Because honestly, if all the rest of them, it doesn't really matter what this one is. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Because you're not going to get the other measurements unless, if that one's not 5, then the rest of these aren't going to work. Okay. So your ultimate goal for the first thing you're going to turn into me is what you see on the screen in a moment. I take the snipping tool, and I'm going to click New, and I'm going to drag over that whole thing, and I'm going to take that photograph, which I can see all those measurements, all the 90-degree angles. And if you have, by the way, if any of these angles are not 90 degrees, these measurements will not work. You will not be able to get these measurements unless all these lines are parallel and perpendicular to each other. Okay, so if in the end you don't get 130 inches, it's because somewhere inside here your angle is off, or you've made a mistake, or you mistyped something. Okay, so I'm going to File, Save As, and I'm going to put this in Assignment 2, Desktop, T folder, Assignment 2, and Save. So that's going to be waiting for me on the desktop, and I will move the stuff from there into my Google Drive later. So I'm going to close this, and I'm going to do File, New, and I'm not going to save my changes. Okay, so that was step 1. Second of all, regarding rectangles, I want you to grab the rectangle tool. I did a File, New, so I've got a fresh page. I'm going to click, click. Okay, so I've clicked twice now. I've removed my hands. I'm going to type 6, 6, enter. Okay, I'm going to zoom in on it. I'm going to pull it up 6 inches, 6, enter. So I pulled it up, press 6, enter. Now I'm going to show you something that people do sometimes, which gets really frustrating. This is your ultimate goal, is a 6 by 6 by 6 cube. But I've seen this many times. I'm going to Control Z this, which means I've just undid that thing. People pull up slightly, and then they pull up again, 6, enter. Now, I basically just pulled twice. So when I check this thing, it is not 6 inches. It's 6 and 5/32, which means that first time I pulled up 5/32. So you've got to make sure you do this cleanly. Pull, let go, 6, enter. Okay? Now you're going to put this into this position. We're going to redo the assignment we did before, but this time you're going to be able to show me that it is in fact perfectly square. So this is the second image I want you to share with me. And I'm going to go Screenshot, New, and I'm going to take this, and I'm going to File, Save As, Square. I should have named the last one. And I'm going to save that into the same folder, Desktop, T, Escape. So now I've got that in there. Okay. And now once again, I'm going to File, New, and I'm not going to save changes. Okay, so now we've kind of redone and expanded upon the assignment from last week. Hopefully that was pretty straightforward. If, by the way, you haven't done last week's assignment, or if you stumbled upon this video, there's another assignment from last week which you should probably take a look at. All right, so today we're going to do quite a bit, but we're basically going to make the bookshelf that you did last time around. But we're going to do it without creating the letter. We're just going to create the pieces and put the bookshelf together. And actually, we're not even going to put the bookshelf together. We're just going to create the pieces for the bookshelf. And then next week, we will use this file to make your bookshelf. So step one of the next part of this assignment, we're going to click on the rectangle tool. We're going to click and click. Take your hand off the mouse. Type 5, 15, enter. Now, I'm zooming in. I have a 5-inch, and I can check that measurement if I'd like. 5 inches, 15 inches. I'm going to click Escape to get rid of that. Now I'm going to choose the Push-Pull tool, this one right here. I'm going to hover, and I'm going to click, pull up. Doesn't matter how far I pull. Remove my hands. Only pulled in one fluid motion. I didn't pull and then pull again. I just pulled once, and I'm going to type 0.75, enter. Now, on a side note, you could have typed, or I could have typed 3/4. That would have worked fine as well. All right, so now I have something that is 5 by 15 by 3/4 of an inch. Escape. Okay. Next, you're going to grab that tape measure. You're going to click on this line here. And once again, don't click on the midpoint. When you click on midpoints, it does different things. Click somewhere else in the line that's not the midpoint. Click, drag that direction. I don't care how far. Remove your hand. Type in. This time I'm going to type the 3/4 for 3/4 of an inch. Over here, I'm going to do the same thing, but this time I'm going to type in 0.75. It's the same thing. You could type in whatever way you want. You're going to do 3/4 of an inch on this side and 3/4 of an inch over on that side as well. Now I'm going to take the line tool and I'm going to draw that line right there. Okay. Now I'm going to grab this arc tool. It's a 2-point arc tool. Now, to tell you the truth, I haven't used a lot of these other arc tools. My arc tool of choice is the 2-point arc tool. I should probably learn more about the other ones, but I like the 2-point arc tool. Okay? I'm going to click on that. I'm going to zoom in on this corner, and I'm going to click here, and I'm going to click here. Now, this is 3/4 of an inch. That's 3/4 of an inch. I want you to notice what that says. Where is it? It's right there. It says tangent to edge. Tangent to edge, where it changes color like that, tells you that this is basically, this shape right here is basically 1/4 of a circle. If I were to take, in fact, I will go ahead and do that for fun. Do not attempt this at home because it gets complicated. It's a little more complicated than times 3. There we go. It's a full circle. See, that is a tangent arc, which means that it is a nice, perfect 1/4 of a circle, is what I'm telling you. I could Control-C my way back there. So once again, to show you how to do that, grab the 2-point arc, click right there, click right there, make sure that this is that color, which has some sort of light blue. It'll probably tell you, if you watch the video, it'll tell you exactly what color that is, but I'm not red-green color deficient, so I'm not the person here to talk about color. So I'm going to click on that, and I have created a perfect roundover, is what that is called. I'm going to grab this push-pull tool here and push that all the way across until I get to those words right there, which says offset limit to -5 inches. Now, I could also have pushed a little and typed 5, enter, and that would have also worked. But you can also push all the way across until you get there. Either way is fine. Now I am going to expect this to be a nice, clean, perfect curve. So please watch for that. Make sure that it says tangent to arc. Now the other side, you're going to take the push-pull tool and you're going to push this down 3/8 of an inch. So once again, I'm going to push on the top. It doesn't matter how far I push. And I'm going to type 3/8 and it's going to push 3/8 of an inch. So 3/8 of an inch is halfway through this board. Okay? Okay, let's take a moment to show you another little tool here. I'm going to go Edit, Delete Guides. That got rid of the tape measure lines, which I want you to do at this point. Okay? So at this point, we have basically the 15-inch piece of your bookshelf, and we're almost done. Okay? Next, I want you to grab a rectangle tool again, and I want you to do this. Create a rectangle, and type 5.5, comma 5. So that's 5.5 inches by 5 inches. I want you to then pull that up 0.75 or 3/4 of an inch. Okay. Last thing I want you to do today is you are going to make another rectangle and type 2, comma 5, enter, and you're going to pull that up 0.75, enter, and that's it. That's what I want you to get done today. I'm going to go ahead and leave it at this, except that I'm going to do, let's see, I'm going to have you take some pictures here. I want you to take this picture here. I want you to put your work into this position as best you can. Let me show you how to move something, since some of you may have at this point made them kind of in weird spots. Which means I'm going to show you yet another thing. Perhaps this is getting a little bit much, but here is one more thing for you to learn. You're going to click, click, click. I clicked 3 times on this surface. Let's go back. Let's look at this, just this object here. If I click once on this object here, only that surface is selected. If you look, there's only that surface is selected. If I were to, and I clicked over here to kind of end that. If I double click, 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 then I have chosen the surface as well as all the edges that are touching that surface. Okay. If I triple click, 1, 2, 3, I have selected the entire object, the whole thing. Okay. Now that I've selected the whole thing, I'm going to right click and choose Make Group. I'm going to do that to all 3 of my pieces. Click, 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 right click, Make Group. Click, 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 right click, Make Group. So now these objects won't stick to each other. Meaning when I do this, I can grab it and pull it out again. If they weren't made into groups, if these weren't made into groups, that wouldn't work. So now you can grab the Move tool and you can move them around wherever you want to. There are some different things to learn about the Move tool that we're going to cover at another time. For right now, that is how I want you to move things around. So at this point, make everything a group, each individual object a group, and then move them somewhat into this position here. I'm not worried about which direction they're rotated and all that stuff. I just kind of want them all in this picture for the moment. You're then going to take the dimensioning tools. And I can't dimension them while they're grouped. I'm going to right click. I'm going to edit group. And I'm going to choose that line down there. Pull away 15 inches. And over here, 5 inches. So this is the first photo. The next photo that I want you to show me is this. Shows that this is 15 inches long and 5 inches wide. You're going to do the snipping tool. Take this photo like that. File, save as, bookshelf 1, photo number 1. Close that. I want you to zoom in on this area right here. And I want you to take this photograph here. Now, because this is grouped, I can't put the dimensions on it without editing it. So I have to right-click, edit group, grab the dimensioning tool, and then put in those 3 measurements. Escape. That one and that one. And now you can see those 3 measurements. And I want you to take a picture of that for me. File, save as, bookshelf 2. Save. Then I'm going to ask you to Control Z all the way back till all those measurements are gone. And actually, I'm going to leave it at that. That's what I want you to do right now, is to create those different those images. Now, let's go look at those images in my folder here. Assignment number 2. So let's see what we got. Extra large icons. So we got the first image. This image here, you started in this corner and you moved 36, then 40, then 22, then 17, then 45, then 79, 31, 5 inches back, 72 inches, and then that gave you an automatic 130. You didn't have to type in 130. And then you took this photograph from the top. That's the first thing you do. Second thing, you created a 6-inch by 6-inch by 6-inch cube. You added the dimensions, and then you took the image. Next, you created the bookshelf, and you put yourself into this position here where I could see a 15-inch by 5-inch board and a correctly dimensioned rabbet. It's called a rabbet. That joint where you've removed that wood down there is called a rabbet, and we will talk about that in future images. These are what these should look like. These pictures are what we should be seeing right now. These 4 images are due next Wednesday, which I believe is the 1st. I hope that's correct, the 1st of April, at midnight. If you get this done by Tuesday at midnight, then I will, if it's done by Tuesday at midnight, then I'll give you extra credit. And I've got one more little trick which is going to make our life a lot easier. I'm going to go ahead and close this, and I'm going to go to the Google Drive. I'm going to do something to make everybody's life easier. So, if you'll recall, this is where I'm going to put all those things into your folder, assignment 2. I'm going to minimize that, and I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to do that. I don't want you to grab this entire folder. I want you to do this. Medium icons. I'm going to grab all 4 of these things, just the folders, and drop them into there. Okay, it's sharing, it's uploading those. Okay. And now when I open up your folder, I'm going to see this. And here's what I'm going to do to make your life easier. I'm going to look at each one of them, and I'm going to say, hey, that looks good. And I will move on. And I'll look at this one. I'll say, yep, that looks good. And I'll move on. And then I'll see this one, and I'll say, there's something wrong with that picture. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take that, and I'm going to drop it back into the folder before. And I'm going to click OK. And I believe I'm going to be able to do that, which means that you will end up with something like this. And you will know there's something wrong with that picture, and that these pictures were fine, this one is not. And that way, at least you'll have some idea of where the mistake is, and you won't be wondering which one of your pictures it is. You'll know which one it is, and you can look back at the video and try to figure that out. Which reminds me, in class I talk a lot with my students about, I have these students who spend an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours doing something which should take them a minute or 2 tops. And they're doing this because they watched the video, and then they kind of understood it, And so then they spent 3 hours trying to figure out how to do it right, and they never go back and watch the video again. Please don't make that mistake. If there's something wrong with your work, first of all, try to get it right the first time. Be very precise, methodical, accurate. This is at the heart of being an engineer, a technical person. You need to be precise. You need to be accurate. Okay? So be very careful when you're doing the work in the first place. Second of all, when there's something wrong, definitely go back to the video and watch the video. And if you're struggling to do it in the first place, have the video up while you're working so that you can rewind and fast forward and try to figure it out as you go. Okay? So that's what I want to have done. If you have this done by Tuesday, you'll get 12 points out of 10. Actually, I'm going to make this assignment worth more because it's more difficult. I'm going to make this assignment worth 20 points. It'll be due by next Wednesday. You'll get 24 points if you get it done on Tuesday, by Tuesday night. I will probably start grading these things like Monday, and I'll start moving things around. And if there's something wrong, I'll move it out of that folder. If you have it done and completed and finished, and I've accepted all 4 images, and you go on a school loop and you see that you have a full grade, then you're done. And if you get that done before Tuesday, then you've got the extra credit. If you don't, then you need to get it done by Wednesday. Okay? All right. Thank you very much.